Morning campers, coffee time, how you doing? You well? Flask coffee. Never tastes quite as good as you want it to. Anyway, behind me is Mystical Lock Key in County Roscommon in Ireland. This is the same lock key that was in a recent video in the dark called UFO Hunting in Ireland. And I thought this was an appropriate spot because the island that you can see behind me is where there is an alleged portal. And this has been the spot of many, many sightings. If you're new to that information, go and look up Dr. Eamon Ansbro on my website, theMarkAttwoodShow.com. There's an interview there with Eamon, who's a astronomer, an academic astronomer, but also somebody that installed a space telescope around here that recorded tens of thousands of UFOs over the last 30 years, since there was a UFO crash here in 1997, allegedly. Oh, you sound like a conspiracy nutter. Yes, I am. Well done. Now, I am wearing mind control colours. See the yellow and the blue? I want to mention this first before we talk about today's subject, because you may recognise these colours from certain well-known things, such as the COVID posters. Do you remember those? They were all blue and yellow. Well, a lot of them were. And also there's the not the European flag. Let's get it right, Mark. The EU flag, which is blue with gold stars, which basically represents a big paedophile ring. What else? Ukraine, which is not a country, as most of us know, but the Ukraine flag is yellow and blue. And weirdly, this county, Roscommon, the flag is the same colours, yellow and blue. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because it's the colour schemes that are used in mind control only work when you're not aware of them. So I'm just bringing it up, and I think I did a video about this about 5 years ago, but I'm bringing it up again for new subscribers and stuff like that, and people that aren't maybe not aware of this stuff. And I'm just going to point you to a Swedish researcher. There's a website called Bartol, BARTOLL.se. Okay, and it's Joachim Bartol, and he's done the best post on this that I've ever read. I'll just read a bit of it for you. Blue and yellow and the predictive symbolism of the staged war and previous psyops, by Joachim Bartol. If you followed mine and other decoders' work on the staged and very much fake war in Ukraine, what did you just say, Mark? I'm just reading. It's not my opinion, is it? I'm just reading somebody else's work. They have been all over this stage theatre, hidden in dates, in words, names, places, and every story in media. Apart from those obvious riddles and revelations of the truth, there is also a lot of symbolism. No shit. One of these, that I've only mentioned a couple of times, are the colours of the Ukrainian flag and also of those of the Jesuit order, blue and yellow. This is not by coincidence. The COVID PSYOP relied on blue and yellow. Yes. Go and look that up, by the way. You can use Google for this. Just type in COVID posters and have a look under Google Images and see if you see these colours. It was also used on the BLM stuff quite a bit. And the reason why these colours work as mind control is the interesting bit. The blue colour induces trust, authority, honesty, and responsibility, while yellow induces energy, happiness, optimism, and confidence. Yellow is the first colour you notice, and it stimulates the mind, making you more susceptible for programming. Well, that's why I'm wearing it today, to make you susceptible to my programming. While blue is the second most powerful colour, when combined you get the feelings and subconscious message to trust and be optimistic about the honest authority communicating to you. Now, I'm going to leave a link to this article for those of you that want to dig into it further, and it's really interesting because when I was looking for this article, because I read this article a while ago, yesterday, I came across some other things that reminded me of something I did when I worked in marketing. I did a lot of work teaching people about the psychology of colours, and you can't underestimate the power of colours, even down to, I was a search engine optimization expert, but I was also a conversion rate optimization expert years ago, and I ran multiple tests on multiple websites to work out things like which colour button would get the highest clicks. Yeah, that kind of stuff goes on in marketing, because when you're spending millions of dollars with Google, I think I spent over 30 million with Google over a 10, 15-year period. And, you want to make those bucks work. So it makes sense that if we're using it in marketing, or I'm an ex-marketer, I'm a recovering marketer, then of course they're going to use it in mind control. So I'll leave a link to that, bartol.se. But the main subject of today is a post by Uri Geller yesterday. Now, Uri Geller, you may or may not know, as he's an Israeli-born British psychic, and he's also quite a powerful... he got very well known to people like me in their 50s in the UK in the 70s and 80s, because he was always on British TV, which is a bit of a red flag, because British TV, as we know, has been littered, infested with paedophiles over the years. And, I'm talking about the Jimmy Saviles and the Saturday Night. Not all of them, but enough of them to cause me to say that the BBC should be dismantled. And I think it will be. I did a video about Donald Trump's, 10 billion lawsuit against the BBC. I think that's going to be mind-blowing. But if you look up Uri Geller, firstly, there's an interesting article from the Daily Mail in the Daily Fail on 4th of September 2023. And in this article, there's a picture of, I don't know if you can see it on here, there's a picture of Uri there, who looks astonishingly well for a 79-year-old man. Astonishingly well. Mystic and spoonbender Uri Geller believes an alien encounter opened up his psychic powers to set him on a mission and share the message that aliens come in peace. And he prophesies that visitors from another world that have guided him ever since are set to return in as little as 5 years to stop nuclear war. The whole nuclear thing is fascinating on multiple levels. There is a school of thought that says there's no such thing as nuclear weapons. I'm not sure I disagree with that. There's another school of thought that says that, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there's something to the word Naga, by the way. Maybe go and look that up, because I can't remember what it is right now. Were not atomic bombs. They were massive incendiary bombs that were made to look... Isn't it another lie? There's another school of thought that says that there are nuclear weapons and UFOs have disabled them, which is why we've never had a nuclear war, despite all the psychopaths in charge of the big red button. But anyway, and Uri Geller also, apart from what he's saying here, I'm just going to read the rest of this. He told the Mail that he now only feels it's safe to confirm the truth of his own boyhood encounter 71 years ago when he was 8 years old. Oh no, this is 2 years ago. So he would have been 6. That he kept shrouded in mystery to protect his image from attack. Israeli-born Uri is speaking out in the light of a growing number of stories about extraterrestrial life. Now, a lot of us know that there is the potential for Project Bluebeam, that there's a fake alien invasion. That's the thing that Werner von Braun said on his deathbed to Carol Roshin in 1970-something. He said the last card will be the fake alien invasion. And, if you look at the comments on Uri's X feed, you'll always see people say, you're a Mossad agent and all of that. He was also good friends with Michael Jackson. There's another picture of him. Doesn't he look in good condition for a nearly 80-year-old man? But the point of this chit-chat today is the X post he made yesterday. And he said, President Trump, I can solve the problem with Greenland. Adopt my Scottish Lamb Island as your 51st state and use it as a military base. Dock your navy and aircraft there, which is going to be pretty difficult because this island is 100 metres by 50 metres. It's tiny. But I think he's referring to the fact that it's a micro-state as reported by the BBC, which means he's claimed sovereignty over this island of some kind. Dock your navy and aircraft there, and if you get into a war with China, I will come to your rescue. Lamb is protected by mystical forces. This is where it gets interesting, and that's the reason why I'm parked in front of this island in Loch Key, which is also this, very mystical. I know a guy, if you missed the UFO video, I know a guy who overheard me talking about UFOs in a local cafe. And then when I'd finished telling my story, he said, and this guy's about 25, and he said to me, I'd have thought you were nuts if I'd heard you say that a couple of years ago, but when I was at Loch Key, I saw a light come over one of the islands, go around it like this, and it was zapping it with lights, and then the island glowed. I think he said blue, might have been green. And then they ran, and the radio went off in the car and stayed off, and it was full of static, even though it was a digital radio. He told me that story 100% to my face, looking me in the eye, and he's a very believable, honest, down-to-earth, lovely, lovely young man. So, this is a very mystical place, and I thought it linked nicely. All Greenlanders can become citizens of Lamb. I don't know if there's code in there. Lamb to the slaughter. So Denmark does not need to worry, and he's copied in real Donald Trump. I don't know if you're going to pick this video up, the sound of it. Possibly not, because I think my Bluetooth is connected. Oh, there we go.
That's a real rainbow. Lamb Island is blessed by supernatural powers. 18 years ago, when I bought the island, I knew why I'm buying Lamb Island. I still know it today. America needs Greenland. There's something in Greenland. If I would tell you right now what is in Greenland, you will freak out. It'll blow your mind. Not only America needs Greenland, but the whole world. And only Donald Trump and a few people know what it is. I know. That's why I'm offering my Lamb Island to Donald Trump. Leave your comments. I'm very curious what you'll say. You can attack me too. I don't care. There's something in Greenland to do with Lamb Island. It's a wow. I love you all.
Now, isn't that an extraordinary video to post? And obviously, it's had 600,000 views so far. There's always people going to be taking the piss out of him. But he links below to the BBC article. I'll also put a link to Yuri's post. I've already put it in my Telegram this morning, but I'll put it underneath this video wherever you're watching this video. Go and have a look at it yourself, because it is fascinating. He's linked to a BBC article that talks about the mysteries that gave birth to the world's newest micronation, which is on a BBC website. And then I'm going to read out a couple more of his extended posts. Trump latest, US President and his team discussing acquiring Greenland and utilising military, always an option, White House says. Interesting. European leaders, he means EU leaders, and the Greenland Prime Minister have issued warnings to Donald Trump that he had doubled down on his threats to take the territory, emboldened by the US capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. Listen to Trump 100 as you scroll. Greenland holds secret mysteries, mapping the hidden worlds beneath Greenland's ice. Yes, Greenland holds many mysteries beneath its ice, including evidence of a lost ancient civilization, which I believe, with sophisticated settlements, which I also believe, massive subglacial canyons and mountains. Yes, we know that. 2 huge meteor impact craters like Hiawatha. Huge impact craters. Fallen angels. Look that up. hidden caves and a secret Cold War military base, Camp Sentry, filled with hazardous waste, all preserved by the ice sheet, revealing a hidden world of past life and geological history. International team, NASA make unexpected discovery under Greenland. I say there is a UFO. So then he links to a number of really good videos talking about secret base buried in ice. There's Scott Coulthard in Australia interviewing a YouTuber who's made a documentary about UFOs in Greenland, which is excellent, worth watching. Yeah, it gets really interesting, doesn't it? And on top of that, you've got all the military planes flying into the UK right now over the last couple of days. And one of the best posts on that subject came from my friend. We've only spoken a few times, but I like him a lot. Another ex-military, spiritually awake person. And he's AJ Roberts. He posts a lot of really good stuff. And what he's saying here is relating to the stuff that's going on, especially with the planes coming into the UK, talking about the fact that, I'll just read it out briefly. For those at the back who refuse to read executive orders, namely 13818 and 13848. Now, I first came across this idea when I was on tour in America with Derek Johnson in 2022. Derek Johnson you can find on X under Rattletrap1776, I believe is his handle. Derek shouts at people a lot, but go and read his stuff. He's a lovely guy. He's actually very funny and very nice. Suddenly crushes their narrative of Trump being controlled by Israel that is ushering a new world order, not a new earth. So anyway, AJ goes off about things there, which is well worth going to have a look at, and I'll link to that. Because, you know, nothing we're seeing on the surface is as it seems. And I guess one of the reasons for my videos, well, I know this, is for those of you that know nothing is as it seems, and not to get panicked. There is a lot of... what was I watching yesterday? I was watching Elizabeth April talk about the fact that there's two timelines. One timeline is, you know, lots of people talk about different timelines, and I know people are going to leave comments saying, whatever, just, you know, I'm just telling you what I've seen and the reason why it's interesting. And she was talking about one timeline being like, yeah, nuclear war, and people are worried about this. I was telling my friend this morning about this, making this video, and he said, yeah, we're worried about, you know, what's going on in the UK. Is there going to be a nuclear war with Russia and blah, blah, blah. And the other timeline is we go into our amazing future. And what we have to remember in the middle of all of this is that we are fractals of God. We are eternal spirits. And we are actually creating all of this. And once you get your head around that shit, you're okay. So whatever you're doing, have a lovely day. Be kind, be nice, and take deep breaths if you need to, and relax, because it's the best thing to do. God bless you. Bye-bye.